And that's when I found out it's illegal for two men to share a corn on a cob in Saudi Arabia. And we're live.
You are now listening to Radio Rufus.
Yeah, wagwan, you big bunda. Sorry. Hi guys, welcome back to Radio Rufus. I tried to do something different. I tried to shake it up, and it didn't really work. But we're back, as usual. Unfortunately, that's probably the best intro we've ever done on this show. Welcome back. As usual, we're bringing you the hot, fresh off the presses news, sports, games from around the world, particularly, seemingly, from the Caribbean this week. As we always do, this is Radio Rufus. It never changes. It is the immovable object of content. As usual, we're bringing you the best stuff from around the world. It's your traditional radio show with a vintage twist. That's right. We are like cigars sitting in the humidors of our beautiful vintage radio station, just waiting to be smoked. Let's get into it with our first segment, Not News. This is what hit the headlines this week. We're actually, I've just remembered, we're not doing Not News this week because we've got a special report replacing Not News. It's still news, or it's still not news, which is a little bit confusing. But we have done some high-level investigation into Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the former independent presidential candidate who dropped out, and then, did you see this? He tried to get a job in the Trump and the Harris organizations in exchange for endorsement. And both of them said no. So that was a catastrophic failure. But welcome to the first ever Radio Rufus Balls Deep Dive, where we extensively cover a case that can't be summarized in just one story. Now, there's some recent news that the lawyer, politician, and US presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy may have decapitated a whale in the mid-90s. And I investigated that, and then the rabbit hole just kept getting deeper. So we've dug up a few more stories surrounding his unusual relationship to wild animals. And if you're wondering that this is going to get sexual, it basically gets almost tantalizingly sexual, but not. As far as I'm aware, he hasn't shagged a whale, but we'll get into it. We'll start with the story that kicked this all off. In 1994, RFK Jr. heard whispers that a dead whale had washed up on the beach in Massachusetts, 5 hours from his home. Now, if I heard that news, I would probably just get on with my life, and completely forget about it. But for some reason, maybe he's less busy than I thought he was. He immediately headed up to Hyannis Port, where it was, with a chainsaw and his 6-year-old daughter. If I'm the mum, very concerned about this this business.
You pack the daughter, then the chainsaw, say you're going on a drive for a bit, you're constantly worried. You're instantly worried.
She seems sort of okay with it, though, because Big Rob, who reportedly loves studying animal skulls and skeletons, sawed the head off the rotting carcass of the whale before securing it to the roof of his minivan before just heading home. 5 hours drive back home.
Yeah.
In an interview with his daughter, she said, every time we accelerated on the highway, whale juice would pour into the windows of the car.
Whale juice? Is that just another name for blood here?
No, it's like rotting flesh has just sort of putrid liquid coming out of it.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine someone who's frostbitten and they've got those blue feet. You sort of just squeeze all that dead flesh and it's got all the sort of leftover juice. There's actually an Urban Dictionary thing. Munting? Munting.
Yeah, what's the definition?
Munting is a recreational activity where you and a mate go and dig up a recently deceased and buried sort of fat woman. And then your mate puts his mouth over a minge while you take a big run up and then sort of do a cannonball on her stomach, and all the sort of juice comes out. We'll wait to see whether... I don't think that last, what I've just described, should be allowed in society.
I also don't think so.
But apparently, I've heard that that's a thing.
Munting to me sounded like whenever people will play, like, what was it called? Like Catch the Piggy or something?
What are you talking about?
And all the
Don't bring up catch the piggy like it's a regular thing.
There might have been another term for it in different schools in different countries, but people would like purposely go out of their way to try and pull the piggy.
Still no idea.
Purposely go out of their way to try and like pull the ugliest, fattest woman in the club.
Yeah, I sort of think that's a bit rude, personally.
Absolutely is, yeah.
Yeah.
A pile of dickheads done it, but
Yeah.
that's what I thought munting was.
No, I see where you got that idea.
Yeah.
I think the lingo at Bath University, there was a group of very sort of toxic lads. I have to say, don't think this is funny.
You would never associate with them.
No, I don't think this is funny by any means. But they used to call them Mackey's birds. That's not funny.
It's funny how fucking unoriginal and uncreative it is.
So I think the challenge on a night out was to pull a Mackey's bird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But that's not munting, is what you're saying.
That's not munting.
Yeah.
That's a totally different sort of activity.
My
parents do listen to this. I wonder if they're going to be able to make it through the munting section of the show.
I don't know. I barely did.
It was really sort of... If I hadn't heard it before, it would have been very difficult to read off some paper.
Yeah.
But I have heard it before.
It was a tough
unfortunately.
listen, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a few questions about this, by the way.
And people wonder why women don't listen to this show.
So to see this whale,
Yeah.
how the fuck is a chainsaw getting through a whale skull for a start? Another question, how is he carrying this whale skull and putting it on top of his car? The only bit of manpower he has is a 6-year-old daughter.
Yeah, and how did he even fucking find the whale?
Yeah. It says, what did it say, that there was like whispers or something around the area? That
Just rumours. And it was actually there.
That's not a rumor. He has a network set up to report roadkill, dead carcasses and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of questionable actions here.
That's not just something you hear through the grapevine. That's something you have to seek out, I think.
Every time, so they would get the rotting whale juice pouring into the windows of the car. Imagine the stench in the back seat. His daughter said, "We all had plastic bags over our heads with the mouth holes cut out, and people on the highway were giving us the finger. But this was just normal day-to-day stuff for us." What?
Whatever happened, I get maybe an argument can be made for a bit of like father-daughter bonding.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to just going for like a bike ride or something?
I know. Also, what the plastic bag over your head? Are you trying to? How's that going to help?
Yeah,
you're still breathing it in.
It makes no sense. If you wanted to do it right, you cut out eye holes and like the tiniest little
Gas mask.
Yeah.
The plastic bag's going to do nothing.
If he has the equipment,
I don't know if RFK is aware of this, but plastic bag famously has one big hole in it in the top.
If he has the equipment to decapitate a whale, surely he has some sort of PPE to cover the stench.
Yeah, I don't know. Lots of questions about this. The fact is just normal. She said this is day to day. So this isn't even anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Some animal welfare activists, quite ironically, lost their head over this story. And they're calling now for a government investigation into Kennedy's illegal possession of an endangered whale head. But keep in mind, this was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And, I don't want people to be chopping heads off whales and walking around with them.
No.
But I feel like government resources are probably better spent on other stuff now.
Yeah, if he'd done it last week, it would be a different story.
Even so, I mean, haven't we got bigger problems?
It's kind of impressive.
What?
Even a small whale still has a big head. So to be cutting that off and running your own operation of decapitating them, and he's obviously storing them somewhere, because he's not just taking them for a spin.
That's something I'd love to find out. What happened to the whale?
Yeah. Because
it's not something you can lose.
Maybe he's eating them, is he? I don't know.
I doubt it. There's a reason they don't, sort of do whale chicken, whale McNuggets and stuff.
Yeah.
It's because people don't eat it.
They probably should, because you get a big share box off a whale.
I think they're a protected species.
That might be the main thing stopping it.
In Japan, they eat whale.
Really?
Yeah, but you can't trust them. You've seen their pornography. They're not people of taste. So, yeah. Basically, it is a violation of the law to just chop a head off a whale. And this is the start of a kind of concerning relationship with animals that aren't pets. Like, these are not
Household pets.
No.
Yeah.
It would be highly inconvenient having a whale in your house. I mean, maybe you could keep a small one in the bath.
Just out of the womb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you've got to stock your house full of chum, etc. Plankton. It's very... Then they don't make great... They're not classic pets.
It's not something you could get at like a Pets at Home.
No. Very small one. People who get their spiders... Why can't... What's wrong with you?
What do you mean? Like pet spiders?
As pets.
Oh, yeah. Nah, fuck that.
Why do you have to get a deadly animal?
Did you ever have any pet?
No, this will tell you a lot about me. I once named a brick and sort of kept it as a pet. Bill the Brick. And I really enjoyed having him as a pet.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to feed him or take him for walks, and he was very quiet and sort of obedient.
What's he up to now? Is he on like the side of a house or?
Yeah, I probably threw him through a window at some point. I don't know what happened to
Do you
him.
remember last episode whenever you claimed you were normal and not autistic? I think that kind of confirms the opposite.
That's very normal. Lots of people.
Pet bricks.
Yeah, pet rocks. Look up pet rocks right now, because that is a thing.
Yeah, you know what? There's been the odd time where I found like a really cool stone.
Yeah, really cool stuff. It's not really a pet.
Yeah.
I didn't like feed it.
Oh, there's like these things. Hold on, how the fuck did I get this?
And I will stand and defend my honor on this. I am a normal guy, and I will not allow to be slandered. Look, it's a business.
Yeah, but they're putting fucking googly eyes and painting them.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, you just had a standard
I literally
brick.
just had a brick on my windowsill. It's getting less and less like a pet every second. It's just a brick.
Did you ever take it for walks, or
No, that was all the great thing about it.
you didn't have to?
No.
So what was the height of your like affiliation with the brick? Just it being on your windowsill? Would you have felt less safe at night if the brick wasn't there?
No, if anything, I'd feel more safe, because then that's one less thing I could be bludgeoned to death by an intruder.
But it's one more thing that you could bludgeon an intruder with.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was such a little kid at the time. I think I had to hold it with 2 hands. I wouldn't be much help against the intruder anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever think, I don't know whether it's just me, but I'll be in whatever room I'm in at the time, I'm thinking and I'm looking around thinking, if someone was to come in and attack me, what would I use? Like, what weapon would I use?
But you're an absolute bear of a man.
Yeah, but still, if someone comes in with a fucking trying to chef me up with a knife.
Okay, in here, what are you grabbing?
Let me look around.
I mean, this for us. What, the whole one of these?
Yeah.
A whole
Because it's
recording
also,
unit.
if you can throw it and you could probably still do good damage, you'd be cutting off the chance
Right,
of
it's
them
a
getting
ranged
close.
weapon, is it? Okay.
If
It wouldn't have been my choice.
you were to
I
ask
mean,
me,
this is getting you straight away.
That's a good one.
The microphone is like a perfect sort of bat.
Yeah.
You could club a seal with this quite nicely.
this would be like my melee weapon of choice, but for what I'm...
Yeah.
If I was at distance and trying to stop someone getting near me, I'm throwing this.
Right.
And then I'm going for this as like my second option.
I would disarm them with language.
What if they don't speak English?
I'll speak Chinese.
What if they don't speak Chinese?
Well, we're fucked.
Do an impression of what you think this sound like?
I'd have a blind stab at whatever native language they do.
We could do the Shaun of the Dead one and start fucking frisbeeing records at
Yeah,
them.
like a sort of ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually have a lot of weapons in here.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, I'm so bad at sort of physically, really. Like, I'm not, sort of very athletic. And I'm only not fat because I watch what I eat.
Yeah.
But I'm not really good at sports or anything. And I genuinely think, outside of trying to calm them down by talking to them, my next best option might be the Wuxi finger hold from Kung Fu Panda. On the off chance that it actually works like in the film.
Yeah. That's what you're relying on.
Yeah, I'm hoping to drop that pinky and then sort of
Yeah.
blow them to smithereens. Because I think in any sort of fight, that's why I've never done any of those influencer boxing things. Because I'm just going to lose. I definitely will lose.
My main thing to do, like initially, is to try and make myself look big. Not that I really have to, I'm already fucking big, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, you've been doing a fucking good job of that. So, turns out you're actually you're just a really good actor.
But you try and like intimidate them in some way. Like whenever I lived in Belfast, someone broke into our flat and I walked into the kitchen and I saw someone facing the opposite way with their hood up, and initially I just woke up. I thought, like, what the fuck's one of my friends doing? Standing in the middle of the living room with their hood up.
Yeah.
And then he heard me turn round and he ran into the far room. So I was like, right, there's only one way out of that, and it's this door. So I chased the fucker into it.
Yeah.
But then just as I got to the door, he opened the door himself with like this big fuck off knife. And I was like, right, you win this one.
Yeah.
But then he ran out. I didn't realize at the time that he dropped the knife, but he ran round the fire escape. So I ran round after him. And for like a split second, I was like, he was wearing a backpack. I could grab that and he could very easily go over that fire escape.
Yeah.
And I remember telling that to like the police. CSI actually came out and they done like fingerprints on the windowsill, fingerprints on the knife and stuff like that. And I remember telling them that, and they were like, if you had done that because he was leaving, you would have got done for it. Like, you would be in the wrong.
For manslaughter?
Yeah. Even though he was fucking holding me.
Until you said that, I thought CSI was just a TV show.
Yeah, no, I did as well. Because whenever they came out, I was on initially it was just police. And then they were doing the fingerprints in the windowsill.
Yeah.
They took my knife and I thought I was going to get it back. Never fucking seen it again.
Your knife? His knife?
No, it was our knife. So we realised after that.
All right, Stalin.
He had come in. He was obviously like a homeless fella or something.
Yeah.
But like the kitchen drawer and stuff was open. So he didn't even bring his own fucking weapon.
Yeah, that's
He robbed us, took our knife, and then had it in the room with his bag where he was obviously going to be bringing stuff back and forth.
Well, that's like the Axeman of New Orleans, the serial killer in the sort of early 1900s. And he would kill people with an axe, hence the name.
Yeah.
But he would always use an axe from a shed on the property.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty creative.
So the first thing I'm doing, throwing away that axe. As soon as I hear about this guy, that axe is gone.
Yeah.
And I'm going to disregard the fact it's essential for everyday life in that time period and just sort of hope I can learn to karate chop trees or something. I'll find a way.
The only thing he made off with was like a few quid in loose change, but also like in the scurry to find a weapon, he must have just like emptied out our cutlery drawer because we had no forks left either. So he just stole our forks and like £5 in change. It was the most inconvenient burglary of all time.
I love an inconvenient burglary. I had some flatmates I didn't really get on with. And I thought, the day I leave, my plan, I didn't go through with it because
Pussied out.
Yeah, I think, yes, you can say that. I was going to like try and make myself sound sort of morally superior, but I did just chicken. I was going to nick all the batteries out of all the remotes and every device in the house. And then I was going to nick all the HDMI cords.
Oh, that's a bastard of a one.
Yeah. And then I was going to leave an upper decker in the toilet and tell nobody.
Yeah.
And just go. But I didn't. Yeah. Regret it to this day.
If you ever have a falling out with the fella studios, you know what to do.
I'm going to do... Mate, imagine nicking all the HDMI cables from the whole studio.
Yeah, you'd need like 3 men to do that.
Yeah.
You know what would be...
you, me, and editor Matt.
Yeah, if anything
Do
ever...
a heist.
If anything goes tits up, we know what we're doing. You have just mentioning the batteries thing put something in my head that I think would be the worst possible thing you could do in terms of like an inconvenience burglary. Taking the fuses out of each of the plugs in the house, because they'd never think to check that initially.
No,
if you close it over, they'd be thinking, "What the fuck's going on?" They'd be on the phone.
I don't even know how the fuck you do that.
Yeah, just get a knife, flick it open.
Yeah.
Everything has like a fuse in it. That would be fucking genius.
Yeah. Of course, that wouldn't really work for your TV because you've got to put money in it for it to work. So,
well, still as a plug. I'd be putting like £10 coins in it. Why isn't it working?
Yeah. Maybe it would just, does it take your money and then just not, if it doesn't work?
Probably.
Yeah. So those vending machines with fuck all in them.
Yeah.
You just get nothing back for your money. Yeah.
I had another friend that on nights out, he would, after like a few drinks, he was the most annoying prick in the world, and he would go around the house taking the light bulbs out and hiding them. So you'd be sitting drinking, and all of a sudden the fucking bulb's gone, and you just hear him running down the fucking hallway giggling.
It's not even fun.
He found it hilarious. Everyone else was fuming.
I think it would be funny if you took all the light bulbs out and then replaced them with like random different ones, different brightness, different color.
Yeah.
That would piss
Different color temperature.
That would piss people off for sure. Yeah. And they're just casting random shadows over everywhere.
Yeah, that'd be really fucking annoying.
Great one. This was not the first run-in for RFK Jr. with the whole Peter squadron, as images flew across the net earlier this year, appearing to depict the absolutely batshit bloke Scranning a dog. If you want to bring up, just put RFK eats dog or something. If you just Google that, and we can see the picture. Absolutely hilarious picture. There it is. So we can see here, everyone who's watching on YouTube can see with us. He's basically, he said, this is from an adventuring trip in Patagonia on the well-known Futaleufú River, where they eat goats all the time. He says that's a goat.
That's not a fucking goat.
It is clearly a dog.
Yeah, that's a dog.
Look at the rib cage. In the face. There is no meat on that thing.
I know the rib cage of a goat when I see one, and that's definitely not it.
I've eaten goat before.
Have you?
Absolutely vile.
Is it?
Yeah.
What about dog? You did live in that region for a while.
I've never deliberately eaten dog.
You definitely have.
Well, there's only so many 50p lunches you can have before you start questioning the lamb.
Have you ever ate something and straight away after been like, it didn't taste like lamb?
Well, I have a principle. If you
that?
put enough peanut sauce on something, it's always lamb.
Yeah, I can see that.
But if you can get lunch for 50p everywhere you go, it's a good chance not all of it is what it says it is.
Yeah, if you told me tomorrow that my meal deals were going to have like 50p mains, I'd eat some dogs.
Okay. There are other options in this country. You don't have to eat dog.
Yeah, but the reason why it would be 50p is because it is dog. But if it still tasted nice.
I feel like in this country, like, dog would start becoming expensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they start putting dog in stuff, and then dog becomes popular.
Yeah.
And suddenly, Greg's releases like a dog roll.
Yeah, there's like dog fried rice and stuff.
Yeah, dog fried. Well, that's a thing. I've definitely had a bit of that in my time.
Yeah. A dog roll.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
People are so sort of... People get on board with trends so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, if Molly May comes out and goes... She does, a brand deal with dog. And she's like...
Just the concept?
Yeah, and she's like, dog is the way forward.
Dog is the new chicken.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a spin-off of Orange is the New Black I've been working on. Dog is the new chicken. I think, honestly, a lot of her followers would suddenly be sort of walking into Pret a Manger and being like, do you guys have any, dog sandwiches?
Yeah.
Thing, yeah. Also,
fitness influencers getting it, describing it as having like high protein content and stuff like that.
It's lean meat.
Yeah.
For sure. It's definitely lean meat because there is no fat on that thing. Yeah, I think it would take off quite rapidly. And also, there are some bits of the dog that are ideal for use as meat as is. Like a dog's penis is almost exactly the same size, colour and shape as a cocktail sausage is already.
Yeah, true. I don't know if the taste would line up the same. And I don't want to find out.
I've never had a problem. In my time.
I don't know whether I can ask this, but I'm going to anyway.
Yep.
What type of dog do you reckon would taste the best?
I don't really know dogs like that.
Yeah, to be fair, neither do I. People would be on about breeds and crossbreeds, and I'm like,
I'm going to say a big one.
Yeah, it's a black dog.
Just because
dog.
A Chihuahua is basically, once you cook that down, that's basically like a toothpick.
Yeah, a Chihuahua would be a chicken wing.
Yeah, if.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would probably taste like that goat I had.
Mm.
That goat was genuinely like trying to chew through like freshly laid tarmac. It was so hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's clearly a dog. Expert veterinarians, or veterinarians, as they're otherwise known, analysed the photo and concluded it was probably a canine. I'd agree with that. Also, and I think this is the most important piece of evidence as to what animal this is. He sent this photo to a friend, and alongside it, he sent the text, "You're going to enjoy the food in Korea."
Yeah, like he knows himself. He's just outed himself there.
Yeah. And that friend thought, that's not funny. That's a bit offensive to Korean people. And also, you shouldn't eat dog. And so he sent it to the fucking news.
Not a great friend, though.
Yeah, poor on the part of the friend, because I think this is hilarious.
Anytime you sent me something like that, instead, blow wraps.
Yeah, I send you pictures of me eating various sort of endangered animals all the time. That's the difference. When I go on safari, I actually scran all the animals. So yeah, it's definitely a dog. And if you look up the photos, I think it's got a shot at winning the world's ugliest dog contest in this condition after being cooked.
Yeah.
And also, that woman in the back is tucking into that thing.
She's got a good lump of it. What's that? Is that the top or the bottom? That's the bottom, isn't it? It is.
I think she's got a sort of thigh.
She's got like the hind leg of the dog.
That's a prime cut of this, because those ribs are, 95% bone. So, yeah. You could make a good stock out of that, I think. Better for boiling than sort of eating. Anyway, on an unrelated side note, the same news report also found that one of RFK Jr.'s favourite pastimes during his marriage to his first wife was sending naked photos of women he was having affairs with to his mates.
Just an absolute degenerate of the highest order.
All photos that he'd taken himself.
Was he using like a camera? How long ago was this?
Yeah, this was in the 80s.
Right, okay, so he was whipping out a fucking Polaroid camera or something and taking a few snaps?
Yeah, it was like Throwback Thursday.
That's mental.
So yeah, he's clearly a sort of interesting guy. So he's decapitated a whale, scranned a dog, and he thought another story was going to come out about him involving an animal. So he decided to bravely come out himself and reveal the details of this story before the news got hold of it and spin it, to make him look bad.
I get you.
So he posted a video last month on Twitter where he admits coming across a young bear in upstate New York that had been mown down by another driver. Mm-hmm. Quote, "I pulled over and picked up the bear and put him in the back of my van because I was going to skin the bear." As you do.
I think that is another case of people that are too wealthy and too rich that they don't actually have anything to do. They have no challenges, so they see something like that and they're like, that could be my side quest for the day.
The massive irony of this, you know what RFK Jr.'s main job was at this time?
What was that?
He was an environmental lawyer.
That's class.
He used to uphold environmental standards.
And now he's skinning bears and beheading whales.
Yeah, so basically, as everyone does when they drive past some roadkill, he said it was in very good condition, and what I was going to do was put the meat in my refrigerator.
The fact that he knows by looking at roadkill what condition it's in shows that it's not a first time offence.
No, he loves roadkill.
Yeah, regularly doing this.
Can't get enough.
More so than it's being reported.
He drove all the way back to New York City because he had a dinner to go to with the bear in his boot.
Surely there's going to be a fucking horrid smell as well.
Oh, unquestionably. By far the best smelling one out of the three is that barbecue dog, because at least it's had a bit of, you'd think it would have a bit of spice rub on it.
True, yeah. Maybe like a bit of peri-peri or something.
Basically a Nando's, yeah, I was going to say.
I had a Nando's earlier and it doesn't look unsimilar to that.
Patagonian Nando's. So he drove all the way to New York with the bear still in his car. At the end of dinner, presumably he got absolutely smashed on cocktails over the course of the time. He remembered he actually had to go straight to the airport that night. And he'd forgotten about the bear. So he wasn't going to be able to skin and refrigerate the bear.
Hate when that happens.
So he concocted a genius plan to drop the bear in Central Park.
I've never been to New York, but I don't imagine bears are just roaming around the fucking centre of the city.
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of gay men in New York. So he staged it, basically, as you do. This mangled, destroyed bear. He was like, let's make it look it's been hit by a bicycle. Because for some reason, alongside the bear, he also had an old bike in his car.
How fast does he think a bicycle can get to take out a fucking bear? Even a motorbike?
Also, the bear's like covered in tire tracks and stuff. Like, it's not going to look anything like it.
Even the most entry level forensics team will be able to match up the size difference in the tires.
Yeah, we'll see what their verdict was. But yeah, he said, let's go put the bear in Central Park. Let's make it look like it got hit by a bike. Everybody thought, that's a great idea. Did they? So we did that, and we thought it would be funny for whoever found it or something.
Yeah.
And what's great is he described this now And then people dug up old news stories from October 2014 in which they found the bear along with the bike.
Yeah.
But nobody knew what happened to it.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So it's true. It's not like bullshitting. The Department of Environmental Conservation said shortly after the bear was discovered that it had definitely died after being hit by a car.
Not a BMX.
No, not.
I feel like even a motorbike, the motorbike is coming off worse than a collision with a full-grown bear.
That's the thing. We don't know how big
Yeah,
the bear is, because you're imagining like a sort of massive bear.
Could be like a baby one.
Yeah, an appetizer, as he calls it. Anyway, I think we can just sum up by what is any of that?
Yeah, very, very eccentric man.
I'm all for people having hobbies, but that dog does look tasty, actually.
I swear as well, a base requirement for having like any sort of political role in the US is to be somewhat mentally challenged.
Yeah, because like Biden's got dementia.
Yeah,
Trump's got a lot of
things.
going on. RFK literally, he had a parasite in his brain
Yeah, I saw
that
that.
needs to get removed. Which I left out of this because I don't think he did that one deliberately, but we can't rule it out. He might have put it in there just to see what happened. Yeah, they're all mental. Right, let's move on to our sports segmentinio Ronaldo. News from China. This week, we're covering the massively underrated traditional sport of the Zhuang people of China's Guangxi province. It's board shoe racing. Can you just bring up a couple of pictures so we can illustrate? Yeah, there we go. Perfect. That second image is good.
Yep.
So here we can see how the sport sort of works. It's a unique discipline that basically has three people sharing one pair of crepes. Racing other people, also other groups of three people who are basically crepes is a word. It basically looks like a sort of medieval era torture device / sex toy.
If you want to know, if you're listening on audio, it's basically a lump of timber with cable ties attached to it.
Yeah, it's like a bit of plywood with 3 foot straps.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say. And then it goes back. So each of you, there's 2 per team, 2 bits of wood. And each of you have all your right feet connected in a line and all your left feet connected in a line. And basically it requires perfect coordination between everyone in order to move quickly. It's a bit like a 3-legged race with twice as many legs.
Yeah. It's like 2 3-legged races.
Yeah. Great. It's a brilliant joke. It traced back to the Ming Dynasty, where they must have been. I don't know. I feel like back in the day, weren't people too busy starving to do this sort of stuff? Like, this seems like a modern invention. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're not going to see this shit in like the Olympics.
It's in the Chinese special. There's something in here. Yeah, the National Minority Traditional Sports Games, which I watch every year.
Big fan.
Yeah, huge fan. Which I think it's just this and sort of League of Legends or something, as far as I understand it. That's generally what Chinese people get up to.
Do you think between the Radio Rufus team, myself, yourself, and editor Matt, we would make a good board shoe team?
Well, I definitely wouldn't want to be on the front, because then I'm getting bummed by either you or Matt every step we take.
What part of the sandwich would you want to be on? The back?
Oh no, middle every time, of course.
So you're getting bummed and bumming?
No, I'm going to be at the back.
So you're just doing the bumming?
Out of those 3 options, where do I want to... it's like the age-old human centipede question. Where in your dream human centipede, obviously I want to be in the middle so I can have Ice Spice in front of me and James Charles behind me. But a lot of people think that's crazy. I got a lot of flack when I said that because people thought I was insane for not putting myself at the front of my own dream human centipede.
Yeah, you're sort of wasting an opportunity.
You agree with me?
I can see where you're coming from, yeah.
Who wouldn't want to be sort of in the tailwind of Ice Spice, let's say, so to speak. But anyway, yeah, the Ming Dynasty. A famous heroine, not the drug, the female hero of the Zhuang people, used it as a way to train soldiers against invading Japanese pirates.
I'm not sure that's a very useful technique if a few pirates are coming at you.
Yeah,
Imagine having to get the timber out and strap in.
what is it training?
Is it maybe just they're not actually going to be whipping these out on the
Is it
day?
how quickly I can tear my ACL? That's all this is going to do.
Who do you think's the main person in this operation? Is it the person at the front, back, middle?
It's like rowing, isn't it? Someone's a pace setter.
Yeah. Who's the most important part of a rowing team?
I have no idea, but there is that little gimp who sits in the front,
Yeah.
the cox, and he shouts the instructions. He doesn't row, and he's facing the wrong way.
Yeah, as if you need the instructions.
I would have thought, yeah,
If you're a part of an Olympic rowing
there's
team,
no directions.
yeah, you should probably know what you're doing at
Straight
that
line.
stage.
They're always a straight line. That's my problem about rowing. They need to do, they have whitewater canoeing.
Mm.
Yeah. They need to have whitewater rowing. But the team, they're looking back. Rowers look backwards, right?
Yeah.
So they don't know what's coming.
Yeah. And then if
suddenly
the
it's
person
just sort
looking forward that's directing them, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because then it's on them if they go into a fucking wall or a crocodile.
That'd be a great sport. And then they go off Niagara Falls at the end or something. They all drown. Yeah. I hate rowing. It's not a sport because there's no rules or points or balls.
Yeah. I've
It's like-
got
it's like-
absolutely zero feelings about rowing.
Yeah. You think about rowing very little.
Mm.
But it's like swimming. It's not really a sport, is it? It's like you know what sport looks fucking crap? The 10,000 meters.
Yeah.
You know what
it's
I
a
mean?
bit long as well.
And I understand that they're going really quickly, but it looks crap.
Mm.
It looks like they're going really slow.
What do you think is, obviously we've discussed darts before not really being a sport.
No, darts is definitely a sport.
Was that what we concluded in the earlier episodes whenever we discussed it?
Is that not what you think?
No, I think you were the one that advocated against it being a sport.
Oh,
Because you were like, anyone's fat uncle can do it.
that's why. That's why I think it's great.
Do you reckon there's a sport that's even more so the case than that? Whether it be pool, snooker, stuff like that people will claim.
There was something about like the esports people, the video game sports people, trying to get that in the Olympics.
Esports.
Yeah, like they're trying to get like sort of Dota and Call of Duty in the Olympics.
They've got X Games. Esports is at that. That's enough. That's where we should draw the line.
They have esports at the X Games.
Yeah.
What's extreme about that?
Absolutely fucking nothing.
Hmm. But I don't understand because it completely undermines the point of the Olympics. So you might as well just have cooking in there. And you could have like, gold medal at MasterChef, Olympics MasterChef or whatever. Because it's not a sport.
It would be a bit shit to watch as well.
Yeah. I think the 10,000 meters is so shit because even though they're running really quickly, it looks like they're going really slow. So yeah, fuck long distance running. Anyway, the legendary Mrs. Wah, who's that heroine we were talking about, used basically long pieces of wood to teach the men to march together in perfect synchronization, which apparently greatly improved their combat qualities and boosted their fighting spirit, helping them repel the invaders. The traditional sport has been passed from generation to generation since then. If one of the three people basically runs too hard or too slowly, they all just fall over. Apparently.
Yeah, I suppose if you're attached at the fucking legs, one person goes down, you all are.
Board shoe racing is a true team sport, and coordination is the most important requirement, said Liu Jianxin, head coach of the Henan board shoe racing team.
I think this is the most boring sport I've ever heard about.
Oh yeah?
I just hope it doesn't lead to the most boring segment we've done since the trying out Sprite segment.
Nobody's ever seen the trying out Sprite segment.
Yeah, fuck, we cut it, didn't we?
Of course. You guys don't know this at home, but there was a segment we recorded once that was so boring. We actually just we fully recorded it, and then we just decided right then and there that nobody can ever see this. And it was my idea. I have to put my hands up and say it. It was drinking Sprite. It was a breaking news segment, and I decided the news story was going to be Sprite being released, which happened in the 60s.
Yeah.
So we both just had a Sprite, and that was the whole segment.
'Cause remember you telling me about it in like the meeting beforehand, and I was thinking, he must have something hilarious up his sleeve here because this sounds shit.
I thought I did. I had nothing. I was like, I'm going to make so many jokes about aspartame and all the rat poison that they put in Sprite back in the day, and the fact they used to be like cocaine and Coca-Cola and whatever. I thought it was going to be so smart. I was going to have to deliver some powerful satire, and it was two men having a drink. It really was. So that's never going to come to the light of day.
I'd love to go back and rewatch that now just to see how badly it's aged.
Yeah. Just like the next segment, that one was questionable. Let's move on to our audience participation moment. We asked you, what's the most cringeworthy thing you've done? This is the second part of that question, and two beautifully smooth segues in a row. Can I just say,
It was indeed.
We are so back. First one, hilarious. I shit myself during a haircut. Is that the worst time to shit yourself?
It's definitely up there.
Because you have to sit on it. It's like when I was going skiing once and I shat myself in the line for the chairlift.
That's far worse.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm assuming you're still queuing and you're still waiting.
Yeah, and then I had to sit on it the whole way up.
Yeah. A haircut should only be like a half hour long.
Chairlifts are way shorter than that.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were going and like seeing the views and...
No. I forgot how working class you were.
Yeah, so what actually is a chairlift?
You know, it's a lift up a mountain, but they vary in length. They're very rarely half an hour long.
Right. Okay.
Maybe a big sort of funicular thing.
I wasn't just talking about the duration of your journey in the stairlift though, but the queuing. Like if you're at the back of the queue.
They're rarely half an hour.
Right, okay. Yeah.
That would be, you know, I think that the sort of time you'd have to sit on the shit would be 6 minutes, 4 minutes in the queue at max. So...
Haircuts are already uncomfortable as well, where you're getting like hair down your neck and it's itchy.
I just think about this one. There's no way you can shit yourself during a haircut where the barber doesn't know.
Yeah.
Whereas I managed to just not tell anyone.
Yeah. And also at those temperatures, are you at any risk of it freezing? Because that'll be
Didn't happen to me.
Right, okay. My younger brother used to fall asleep whenever he was getting his haircut. How is that possible?
What?
He was like, up until he was like 7, he would just be sat there and then barber would still be buzzing away around his head and he would just be passed out sleeping.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shat myself during a haircut. Definitely got a dead trim as well. Next one. Was sharing my screen with an external law firm going over a contract. I thought one of the girls was fit, so I started Googling her and looking at her Facebook for 2 to 3 minutes. Realised I was sharing my screen and they saw the whole thing. Casually closed the window and acted like nothing happened. Honestly, mate, I think you've got to be thrilled that you weren't fired.
Yeah.
Absolutely thrilled that you could just move on from
The
this.
fact that it seems like they all just collectively agreed for whatever reason to brush this under the carpet is great of them.
I had one.
Similar to that?
Yeah.
Right.
I was texting a girl on Instagram that I hadn't met before, and I asked her, "What's your job?" And she goes, "You should already know," and sends me a screenshot of her LinkedIn and people who viewed your profile this week. Rufus Rice.
That is ultimate level digging as well. Whenever you can't find what you're looking for on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, you resorted to fucking LinkedIn.
I looked at her career history. And then she sent me the screenshot.
That's awful.
Oh, that was okay. Got over it. Still went on the date.
Yeah, well, she didn't find it that cringeworthy then. What is your most cringeworthy moment? That aside. Other than doing this podcast.
Give me one. Give me time to think. Do you have one?
Mine would probably be whenever I was like, say 10 to like 14, I used to make Call of Duty videos. And at the time, that was very cringy. Now it's probably cool to do that in school.
Yeah.
But I remember this was before I knew what fucking editing was, what like game capture softwares was. So
were you on the Bandicam?
Not even. I set up my Maz camcorder on top of a stack of DVDs and
to point at the screen.
Do you know those big fat like box TVs you used to have?
Right, yeah.
Aimed at one of those and was playing a TDM on Quarry on Modern Warfare 2.
Right.
And I remember not knowing
you had to put 50p in it every hour as well, otherwise it would turn off.
It's a pound.
Pound
an hour.
Is it actually £1 an hour?
Yeah. No, £1 for 4 hours, sorry.
Because I was going to say, that's a lot of money.
But obviously, as I was saying, I didn't know what editing was, and I also didn't realise how hard it was going to be to talk for that length of time. So I initially introed the video, I was like, I'm just going to be playing Modern Warfare 2 here, the squeakiest voice going, and I had a hi-fi beside me, so I was like, after a minute of talking, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So just press play on my hi-fi, and fucking Now 72 was in it. So that if anyone ever watched that, it was just a TDM to Cheryl Cole Fight for This Love playing in the background.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, that was the first song on that album.
A guy in my school, he came out to sing a song in assembly, and he fucked it so hard, right? He fucked it so hard, they turned off the music, and then he said, "Can I do a different song?" It's not X Factor, mate.
That is fucked. It would be very hard to come back from that one, especially in front of all the rest of your class and stuff like that.
So embarrassing. Next one. While shagging, I was told to talk dirty. I didn't know what to say, so instead I said, "Holy moly, you make me so erect." You know what I think's kind of funny is using scientific names as part of dirty talk.
Yeah.
Like perform fellatio on my phallus.
Yeah.
Funny though. I don't think that's cringe at all.
Nah, that would get a laugh out of me.
Yeah, but why do you always do this?
What?
Every time I talk about something, you subtly hint that we might be bumming behind the scenes.
I wasn't saying
You're never involved.
I wasn't suggesting that if you done it to me. I was suggesting, generally speaking,
Right.
that if someone was like, "Let me fucking fillet that shaft of yours," that's just not scientific at all.
Not science at all. Fillet is barely science.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying I would find it funny, not if you were doing it.
Yeah. You always got to make it weird. Okay. Next one. Filmed my mum pole dancing and accidentally put it on my story.
That is fucking weird.
What? There's a load of problems with this.
Yeah.
Why is your mum pole dancing
Yeah.
at the family event?
Oh my god.
And don't try and act like this is like she does it for sport.
Yeah,
like
she tells everyone that.
middle-aged women, because not at a wedding. Surely not. There's a lot of problems with this. Putting it on your story is funny though.
Have you ever done anything like that? Like accidentally put a text?
I know
for
I've never
someone?
filmed my mum pole dancing. No.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that we cleared that up.
Yeah.
But you ever sent like the wrong text to like a group chat or something that was meant for a girl or anything like that?
Actually, no, not really.
There was one in our school where they had just got together, two people in the same year, and the fella was already like notoriously hated, but he was in like some football group chat,
Right.
and his girlfriend had like GCSEs the next day, and he sent her a text being like, "Don't worry, my gorgeous darling, you'll do so well, you have nothing to worry about, you're so smart and you're so creative," and all this. Sent it to the fucking football group chat.
Oh,
Never lived that down.
No,
Never ever fucking lived that down.
It's awful. I needed an exam from the doctor for a pain in my arsehole. A big, tall, muscly doctor asked me to get in position on the bed and he'd be back in. When a doctor says that to you, that means sit down on the thing, right?
Yeah.
He interpreted this as to go on all fours with the trousers down. Doctor came back in and was not too impressed. Just presented to the doctor.
Yeah, on a fucking platter.
He's ripped as well.
Yeah.
Big guy.
Why is that so important? You're really emphasizing that?
Well, I just feel like it just makes it worse.
Yeah.
Next one. It wasn't me, but my ex texted me saying, "If Liam and Noel can get back together, so can we."
There's probably a lot of people that would work on, but that makes me shrivel up.
It's a bit like the group chat situation. That's absolutely vile. Next one. I had just moved schools in year 6 and tried fitting in with everyone else. So I started saying that I have a lot of swag. So everyone started calling me Swag Man. A few weeks later, they had an anti-bullying assembly for the entire school. And when they asked if anyone had been a victim of bullying, I was the only person who put up my hand. That's so brutal.
Oh, that's grim.
I ended up telling everybody that everyone in my grade called me Swag Man, and everyone laughed. Yeah.
We laugh at that, but unironically, I would have loved to have been called Swagman.
I don't think it was like...
Oh, he wasn't. They were laughing at him, not with him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Swagman was not sort of Cool. Last Saturday was my mate's 21st. When we were there, he told me that he had matched with this fit Eastern European chick on Hinge. I took his phone and texted her that he would be there at 1 a.m. and to drop the address. He left. Later that night, my mate sent a video to the group chat. He was sitting on the pavement of the street because this girl had mistaken my mate for another man. And so when she opened the door, she told him she'd made a mistake and asked him to leave. As he was sat on the pavement outside, the other bloke pulled up in an Uber and went inside.
It's rough.
That's pretty hard. That's pretty tough to take. Especially because you're just sitting outside the house.
Yeah, just watching it happen.
Yeah, pretty so. It's like getting cucked, but it's not even your girl. And somehow it's still just as tragic.
Yeah, it's probably worse.
No, it's not worse.
Did you say getting cucked?
Cucked.
Yeah, nah, fair enough.
Well, it's
Have you
like
seen this new phenomenon where people are like pointing out just random chairs and referring to them as cuck chairs?
yeah. I'm not really on board with it,
Yeah, like the third chair if it was sat there, right?
mate. What's going on? I'd just like to clarify. Me and Aidan do not have like a secret homosexual relationship that occurs outside the normally scheduled recording hours of this podcast. Not yet. Right. Oh. Oh. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you. I've just had some news in Down the Wire from our US correspondent Mahatma Gandhi in Los Angeles, California. This is today's news. Today, of course, being June the 6th, 1968. Once again, we sadly cover another murder on the dance floor on this program. Someone should write a song about that. The dance floor in question is the second greatest, behind Prism Kingston. It's the Embassy Ballroom in the Ambassador Hotel in LA. I don't know if, and I'm starting to question, if bullets are magnetic and everyone in the Kennedy family has pierced nipples or something. But another Kennedy has bitten the dust, believe it or not. That's right, RFK has been absolutely smoked by a teenager with a pistol at a rally. It marks the most tragic assassination in the Kennedy family for 5 years.
They were going strong for a while.
They were going strong. Bit peak for Ted Kennedy, who's now had both of his brothers mown down by rogue gunmen.
How many brothers is there? Is he the third? The last one standing?
I think so, yeah. Commentators at the scene remarked on Kennedy's slow reaction to the gunman, stating, "You snooze, you lose," and interviewed the gunman, who said it was a tough sitch and Robert would just have to firm it. A true shagger in the purest sense, Kennedy leaves behind no less than 11 children, all with the same women. Honestly, I think she might have been through more trauma than him at this point.
Does seem like it, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sure all of his children will go on to be completely normal people, though.
I think they're going on to do great things and carry on his legacy of being a brilliant leader and a great statesman who was sadly taken too soon.
Do you reckon if you were Ted, you would be getting like imposter syndrome about the fact that you weren't important enough to be assassinated and both your brothers were? That thought would creep into my
First thing I'd be getting, bulletproof vest for sure. And then after that, maybe some imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
That does kind of suck.
Yeah.
It's like if you're president and no one tries to kill you at any point, did you even matter?
You haven't done enough.
Yeah.
Like if someone came in here and instantly ran in with a gun and just pointed at you and didn't even care that I was here, I'd be like,
you'd be a bit
I'm right here.
Yeah. But obviously then I would
Grab your microphone and
disarm them, put them in the Wuxi finger hold, and then just destroy them like Prime Master Shifu. Which is a very very forward-thinking reference for this segment. Imagine trying to explain the concept of Master Shifu to someone in 1968.
Yeah.
It's like trying to explain my job to my grandpa. That just to get to what it is, there's a lot we're going to have to cover first.
Yeah. Trying to explain Kung Fu Panda to someone in like the 70s, they would think it's like propaganda or something.
What, like Chinese propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he? Is it? It is Chinese. That's a stupid question.
Yeah, it is.
Are we sure? He's a panda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm nearly sure.
I'm not certain.
Yeah.
Oh no, because they have that little. For some reason, everything that was stereotypically Chinese has a little. And like.
What the fuck was that?
For the listeners, I just sort of mimed a
Karate chop?
cross. I know that's Japanese, but I just feel like in a lot of Chinese media, someone ends up always getting brained. You know what I mean?
Kung Fu's Chinese, isn't it?
Sure. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah?
Japanese have karate. I'm pretty sure the Chinese
My favourite
have
is
Kung
judo, which is just wrestling in a dressing gown. I saw it at the Olympics.
Fu. Yeah.
That's what it is. I could easily win that.
You know, we used to do my tits in at school. Whenever there'd be like someone, maybe you know, there's always not in your school actually. I always ask you this, and you tell me that there was never any fights, but there'd be maybe rumors of a couple of people falling out, and then someone would be like, "Oh, wait, he does judo, or he does some real useless fucking fighting sport that's not going to help them at all."
Yeah. Oh,
And they go on as if
absolutely.
they're fucking trained assassins.
Yeah. I don't care if you're a fucking Tibetan monk who's a black belt in some sort of I don't care if you could kill me with thoughts. As the minute we get into that fight, you are scrapping away with your fingernails like a sort of rabid cat.
Yeah.
All technique
Goes out the window.
goes out the window.
Schoolyard fights especially.
Yeah. No, I don't think we ever had
That's the most American thing I've ever said, by the way. Schoolyard fights.
yeah.
What the fuck's the equivalent?
Wanna
We
go-
didn't have a yard.
Want to go outside, Buster? That's what they do, don't they?
Yeah. We just had tennis courts.
Challenge people to a fight.
Yeah.
Was it grass, your tennis court?
Nah,
Astro?
It was fucking tarmac.
Tarmac, yeah. Of course, I don't even know. Of course it wasn't grass, because that costs money to maintain.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't have had that. But anyway, on the wonderful piece of information that grass courts cost money to maintain, we'd like to end this episode of Radio Rufus. Thank you, all you bomboclots, for staying with us for another brilliant show. We'll see you again next week. We may have a guest on, if we organise it. I don't know. We're sort of organisationally sloppy behind the scenes here at Radio Rufus, and we're not sloppy in any other way, just admin. Thanks for watching all the stuff, and we'll see you next time. Back to you in the studio. Lovely.